Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Green White Checkered TV. I say this is not the start of the Area 51 Indy series tonight at Indianapolis. This is actually just a test practice start for the drivers. I say again, a lot of new names, new faces. We got 33 people in the field this evening, so I'm gonna need to make sure everybody is kind of gets used to everybody. And I say definitely it's a great idea here to get a practice started for all these drivers so they can kind of know what to expect here tonight at Indy. So that's what you're seeing right now. As you can see in the ticker, we have 11 minutes left in practice before we jump over to the 5-minute qualifying session. So I just want to give you all a heads up on that one to not worry and like, we missed the start, but we haven't missed the start. We're in good shape here. So just want to give you all a heads up again, and want to thank you all for joining us here at Green White Checkered TV for the Season 5 opener here in the Indy Series at Indianapolis. So we'll join you all here in just a moment, and until then, say enjoy the practice action, and we'll get chatting here again soon. All right, so we got about 2 minutes left here in practice before drivers are going to make their qualifying attempts. So I want to welcome you all to the inaugural race of Season 5 here at Area 51 Racing League. Really want to thank you all for joining us here at Green White Checkered TV. I'm joined tonight by a good friend and teammate and competitor, Steve Gottschalk. Steve, really happy to have you on board here this evening. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, tonight. Obviously, some new names, new faces for some of these drivers in this Indy series, so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for that. But of course, though, with these Indy cars at Indianapolis, it's kind of the bread and butter of, if you will, with these cars. So it's going to be pretty exciting here. Anything you're looking forward to specifically for tonight?
First of all, thanks, Kyle. Just want to say I'm a rookie at this, and this should be fun and interesting to watch. You and I have both taken some laps in the Indy cars at Indianapolis. In fact, I think you won a race here, didn't you? And
Yeah.
the draft. One of the things I noticed when I ran a few laps during practice, and the draft is just incredible on these things, and you're basically flat out all the way around. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys handle drafting up on one another and running in a pack and not running all over each other or putting each other in dangerous situations.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. It is going to be challenging. One thing that's interesting that I've just been made aware of earlier in practice is apparently now the Indy cars in iRacing actually allow for weight jacker adjustments even on the fixed setup. So you can kind of I guess if you will, you can kind of attribute that similar, not nearly the same, but to like in the NASCAR where we can adjust our brake bias up and down that way. Which of course you can do here in the Indy cars as well. But that weight jacker adjustment could be crucial for a track here like Indy, with as important as it is with that draft and the arrow push and everything that you run into. So I'm curious to see how that's going to come into play this evening. But as I say, that looks like looks like practice is just completed here. So we're going to start up with qualifying in just a moment. So what we'll do here is we're going to let these drivers go ahead and make their qualifying laps right now. And then while we do that, we'll step away for just a quick moment, and then we're gonna get things going with just a few minutes left in qualifying, and then we'll go through our starting grid this evening. All right, qualifying is just about completed here. Looks like we got about 10 more seconds until the clock expires. So I see one driver trying to get his last lap in, I believe, trying to see if he can get that money lap here at the final seconds, really, of qualifying. Looks like he was just able to get it in there. So with that being said, looks like our pole sitter here this evening is going to be the number 16 of Christopher Kresge. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and pull up our starting grid for the evening. And I see right there, on the pole sitter, Christopher Kresge with the 39.236, 4/1000ths of a second quicker than second place Craig Forsyth. You see Charles Teed there in third, only 1/100th of a second off the pole. Charles Johnson in fourth, Harrison Womack fifth, Julian Altina in sixth, Bud Steele in seventh, and then our defending champion Chad Wilkes in the 8th position.
I also noticed, Gael, that we've got 8 people who chose not to qualify that are just going to start in the back, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, that's always kind of a strategy call that some drivers will make. They may not want to start up front right off the bat. You kind of always balance how you want to make things happen there. So say, however, for our you can see the top looks like 25 made qualifying laps there. But yeah, you're right though. You can see some of those drivers a little further back went ahead and kind of take a provisional, if you will, and probably just going to try to take it easy here at the initial start of this race. So as we'll keep going through the grid here, let's say you see some of the names in there. Like I said, again, you're going to see some new names, new faces, and of course you're going to see some of our regulars in here as well. But yeah, so say we're going to have 75 scheduled laps here at Indianapolis. Also a reminder for those who aren't familiar with Area 51 Racing League, they do have 2 faster pairs and up to 3 green-white checkers if needed. And so I know we've done that. We did that Indy series, Steve, you and I, on one of our league races, and those faster pairs come in handy with these Indy cars.
Yeah, definitely. You can bang them up pretty badly.
All right, so say we're going to see the field just starting to roll off right now. So you either see the that number 16 car there of Christopher Kresge, our pole sitter for this evening. Again, say just 4/1000ths of a second ahead of that 131 of Craig Forsyth. I say Craig obviously second in the points in season 4. He's got his eyes sets on improving that by 1. So he's going to try to see if he can get off to a really solid start here tonight at Indianapolis. And of course, our season 4 champion in that 17 car, Chad Wilkes. He's here to try to see if he can kind of hold on to that championship, defend that championship, if you will. I say it looks like we have 2 drivers that may be starting from the pit lane or may have just missed the grid. I'm not sure. That's going to be the 86 of Kyle Hess and the 44 of Dwight Plesh. However, we do have 33 drivers in the field this evening for this race. So yeah, so any final thoughts here, Steve, on your end before we get things rolling?
Not at the moment. I'm just looking forward to seeing how these guys played this out here at the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm going to be curious to see how aggressive or careful some of these drivers are going to be. I'm sure you're going to see a bit of a mixed bag of strategies. I'm sure you're going to see some of those up front are going to try to definitely hold onto that front position. And then I think, like you mentioned, some of those drivers that took those provisionals towards the back, like Michael Spell, Jim Brooks, Jeff Clark, Roy Wheeler, I think we're going to see those drivers probably try to just ride, save their stuff, try to avoid any potential incidents in front of them, then to be after it here when it counts here towards the end. So showing one driver that either fell out or may have left the server is the 06 of Mauro Ramirez. I don't know if he's going to come back or not. Hopefully he's able to get back in the server. However, that being said, though, see that pace car here just about to duck off, and it's going to put it into the hands of our front row of Christopher Kresge and Craig Forsyth. Here at Area 51, they do go on green, so we'll wait see what happens here. All right, green flag is in the air, and we are underway at Indianapolis. You see that 131, and Craig Forsyth got a really good start there, so able to actually clear the pole sitter of Christopher Kresge. So he's going to have the lead here entering turn 1 and through turn 2. as they come through the backstretch here. Well, you're going to see again, we talked about that big draft that Steve had mentioned earlier. As you can see right off the bat, though, that 16 is going to jump to the top side. We're going to see how they go here through the backstretch.
I'm watching a little bit farther back in the field, looking at last year's champion, Mr. Wilkes, and he started on the outside. He's just pulled down to the inside and is trying to move up a little bit. But I see that people here look like they're being very patient, not seeing a whole lot of passing, no three wides, anything like that so far. So this is a pretty good start to a race.
Yeah, so you can still see everybody, especially in the backstretch. They definitely start slicing and dicing, trying to find that clean air. Probably also trying to find a little bit of room to work as well. As I said, we got a lead change. That 131 Craig Forsyth did lead that first lap. Charles Johnson here is going to take the lead out of turn number 3 into turn number 4. So we're going to put that number 28 of Charles Johnson in the lead here. And so you can see right behind him that 16, though, Christopher Kresge. He's going to still see if he can make this top happen. That's, again, we talked about also, I feel like that's going to be a good spot to be, even though it's obviously not the short way around. If you can keep that clean air on the nose of these cars, that's going to be extremely critical. And sure enough, the 86 of Kyle Hess and Dwight Plush, they have got back on track right now. They're about half a lap behind the leaders, but they're pretty much all by themselves right now, so that's also helpful. And I do see the 06 of Mauro Ramirez back on track, 1 lap down at the moment. However, the only car 1 lap down, so that's good news for him. Right now, that 28 of Charles Johnson still protecting that bottom side. However, he's going to have a new visitor here. It looks like that number 6 of Bud Steele is going to go to the top here. Going to see if he can use that momentum. We saw on Sunday on that Chandler Signs exhibition race that that 6 car was making that top work extremely well at Auto Club Speedway. I think he's going to try to see if he can do the same thing tonight here at Indy. Definitely a lot of 2x2, like Steve mentioned. There is not too much 3-wide racing, which in my opinion is a really good thing for the beginning of this race. They've done a really good job just trying to get things settled and get everybody sorted out here for the initial kick of this race. But right now, it looks like the top group right now is about, I would say, 20 cars or so in this main group, and then the second pack from about Jeff Clark, I believe, in the 24 on back, looks like they've kind of separated out a little further back there from the lead pack. So we'll see if that comes into play here a little later on as this race unfolds.
Notice that Maxwell Caldwell in the 94 car, he's come up quite a few spots and has worked his way up to second now.
Yeah, as they just jumped over to that 94, Maxwell Caldwell, like you said, he's up into second, right on the rear wing of that 28 of Charles Johnson. We'll see if he's going to try to, I was going to ask, as I saw one just touch the wall a little bit. I see some on the front stretch there. I think a few had to take evasive action, actually wound up in the pits. So that's these. Oh, caution is out of the 77 of Benjamin Combs. So you see drivers trying to avoid him there. It looks like the 05 also was involved there. That was Charles Teed. I think that may have been where things started out, actually. So we'll do is let's go ahead and try to take a look, see what happened here on this replay. I believe it started off with that 05 and the 77 cars, though, here. So we'll go back and take a quick look.
Good thing they have fast repairs because the 05 lost his entire front nose cone. It looks like the 05 just pushed coming off the turn and off turn 4 and just slammed the wall.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. Yeah, see that 05 looks like he gets tight there, running a little bit too high, possibly out of turn 4. Just as saying, especially still a little bit of dirty air in front of him too. And sure enough, I'll say that gives him a fair bit of damage. And then I believe further behind that's kind of a reaction to you. Oh, actually, you see the 05 kind of cuts to the inside. Nothing the 77 here could do, and unfortunately for him, you can see he makes heavy contact with that inside pit wall, and then saying that actually throws him up and almost up into the crowd there. And I believe actually what brings out the yellow is that car actually winds up flipping back through the pits, and you'll see here it bounces up and over and back onto the track somehow. So yeah, for Benjamin Combs in that 77 car, he went for a wild ride here tonight at Indianapolis. So unfortunately wound up landing on his lid as well. You can see some of the cars trying to avoid him there. I believe that was the 90 that was able to just sneak around there, John Brill. Looks like he may have gotten away with that one. However, we are under yellow here. I believe pit stops are just about underway here, so we're going to see who are our takers under this pit stop. Looks like pretty much the whole lead pack is in right now. It doesn't look like too much strategy on this cycle around, at least. Looks like pretty much the whole field is in the pits right now. We'll see if there's any tire fuel strategy. Yes, I think everybody's going to fill it up with fuel here. Possibly you might see fuel only for some drivers, although I'm pretty sure you might see some tires as well. However, I'm watching that 28 Charles Johnson. Looks like he went fuel only on that 28 car, so he's going to come in and out with the lead. Well, actually, I shouldn't say with the lead. He'll be the first of the leaders that pitted, because we do have two that stayed out. It looks like we have the 65 of Gary Corley that stayed out, as well as the 54 of AJ Musselman. So those two drivers there stayed out under this yellow. Looks like those might be the only two that stayed out. And the next thing we got to look into is to see who was able to benefit from that caution. So we should be getting at least one driver that gets their lap back, which I believe is going to possibly go to that 06. I'm going to jump over to him right now, of Mauro Ramirez. Actually, he's falling towards the back right now, so maybe he was not the lucky dog this time.
I was just looking at his car, and I don't know what happened. It looked like his rear brakes locked up in the short chute between 3 and 4, and he just completely spun out.
Oh, that was the 06?
Yes.
I wonder if that may have potentially cost him a lucky dog spot. Say, right now I'm showing the two towards the tail end are. She's showing Charles Teed right now as the tail end of the lead lap in that 05 car. As you can see, he's right now the first car behind the pace car. He actually pitted with that incident here, so he's going to get the wave around, which is going to be huge for him. So right now I'm showing actually two cars lap down, which is that 06 of Mauro Ramirez and the 77, who of course did that huge flip there through the pits and then back on track, of Benjamin Combs. So there goes that 05 getting that lap back, so he's going to be back on the lead lap and pretty much on the same tire strategy as well, so it's huge for him. However, that's going to now put the lead into the hands of that 65 of Gary Corley. Again, he and the 54 of AJ Musselman did not pit under this yellow. I see a few drivers there topping off towards the back. You got John Burrell, Dwight Plush, James Ledford, and Robert Richards all topping off here on the one to go. Again, we have two drivers still showing as one lap down. And yeah, so we're going to restart here with 66 to go of the scheduled 75. And so yeah, so we're going here in just a moment. Alrighty, so let's see. I'm trying to keep an eye on where everybody is here. So yeah, it looks like for the most part, pretty much similar pit strategies for most. I'd say. I think the only driver that went fuel only on that stop is that 28 of Charles Johnson. So we're going to get a little bit of a mixed bag here. We're going to see obviously what the fuel strategy is going to look like, as well as the tires as well here.
You said the top two stayed out?
Yes, top two, Gary Corley and AJ Musselman. Those drivers stayed out under this yellow. And then the 28 of Charles Johnson, he took fuel only on the stop. And I believe from Maxwell Caldwell on back, they all took 4 tires and fuel under this yellow.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. Maxwell Caldwell to the lead.
All right, you heard it first from Steve Gottschalk. We're thinking that 94 Maxwell Caldwell to the lead here once these things get cycled out. So you can see the field here waiting for that green flag to fly, and it's a big train here on the front stretch. You got to be real careful not to try to get those accordion effects on the restart. So right now, from what I'm seeing, maybe a little bit of a hiccup here for the 90. I'm showing him in the pits of John Brill. Not sure if he went there to possibly avoid something or if maybe he had to serve a penalty. Right now, that 90 of John Brill in the pits. However, up front, already a battle for the lead here. You see Gary Corley under attack from the 54 of AJ Musselman. And here comes Bud Steele to the inside, going 3 wide here, going to try to get all of it in one shot. And Bud Steele to the lead.
Oh, what a move.
Yeah, Bud showing the aggression there, had a big run and took advantage of it. And see a little further back there, so it looks like the 131 was under attack as well. I believe that was the 72 of Eric Schaus that went. I'm not sure if he went 3 wide or not, but I say that some of these drivers are making some more moves there. I say that was the 72 moving forward here as well. But yeah, so it's a big move though by Bud Steele getting back up into the lead. However, I say they're not done yet. I'll say the guy you talked about, that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, he is still right on the rear wing, if you will, of that 6 car. So we'll see if Maxwell's able to get up there as well. But right now that 65 is holding pretty strong on the top side with no tires under the stop. Oh, you see the 54 just caught the grass there, able to keep it. Oh, actually, really good heads-up move by AJ there. Kind of caught the grass on the entry of 3. Rolled out of it, and he's going to get back going again. I say no harm, no foul, just a little bit of lost track position, but instead of forcing the issue there to get back on track. So really good heads-up driving there by AJ Musselman in that 54 car.
Got a great battle for the lead going on right now between Bud Steele, Maxwell Caldwell, and is that Johnson?
Let's see. I believe that's Charles Johnson in the mix as well, right behind Bud there in that 6 car. It looks like the last time around Maxwell led that lap, so I say he did get a lap led. But now Bud's found his way back to the front. But one driver that's making some pretty aggressive moves here early on to get towards the front here is that 72 of Eric Schaus. He's trying to work his way forward. Looks like he's right around the top 5 now. However, again, we talked about for the lead here. You can see right now Bud Steele, Maxwell Caldwell, and Charles Johnson now as well up top there. And I'm trying to see who that is in 4th. I think that's the 5 of Harrison Womack. He's in that 4th position. Looks like they're going to maybe go 3 wide here on the backstretch. So the aggression definitely picking up here with these drivers as they go into turn 3 here. Yeah, really great moves here so far on this restart bar. That 72 of Eric Schaus. He started 20th. He's was up to 5th last time around. Looks like he's going to be 3rd or 4th here, pending how the draft works in his favor. Looks like 3rd at the line. I say he's not done though. Looks like he's definitely making some moves, trying to get that top line to go. Saying the momentum is definitely there on the top side, so we're gonna see how that goes as well. And then right behind, I saw some pretty big net code there. Unfortunately, I say, and that unfortunately is gonna take David Leclerc here. Big hit for him. You see drivers trying to avoid that car. Looks like pretty good job by everybody avoiding him on that one. But that's unfortunate for David there. I say from where I was watching that, it looked like a lot of net code on that one. David's trying to see if he can get looped over, but I don't think he's going to get it. He's going to have to take a tow. Let's go back and see what happened on this one. You see right here the 50, and I believe it's the 5. And I believe, as I say, the 5, I think there's just honestly just a lot of net code here. You'll see as the 5 is kind of drifting up a little bit. You can see the gap they have still between the 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, they have almost a half a car width there. Unfortunately for David, just nothing he could do. And you can see the smoke coming off of that 5 afterwards. So just really just honestly unlucky for David there. Nothing he did wrong. Just unfortunate part of online racing with the potential of net code always coming into play here. So say David going for a pretty wild ride there, and of course, unfortunately as well, not getting back on his wheel, so he could try to limp it back to the pits. Going to have to take a tow. However, that bad luck could wind up being good luck, I believe, for either Benjamin Combs or John Brills. I believe one of those drivers will get their lap back here. However, again, really, really great job by these drivers avoiding that incident there on that backstretch out of turn 2.
He was in a very precarious position, being upside down in the middle of the track, and for everybody to miss him the way they did, pretty impressive.
Yeah, say these things go. I say I'm running super slow mo, and you see these guys making these moves, dicing to try to get around it. So yeah, really great job for them. Looks like same thing here, pretty much similar pit strategies. Looks like most drivers are pitting. Looks like the 83 of Jack Walls is going to stay out here. Looks like he'll lead the lap at the line. Not sure, maybe that's a strategy just to try to get a lap lead, or maybe he's got something else in mind there. But I say you see most of the leaders here in. Looks like also trying to see who all stayed out here. I think I see the 11. So as we're watching, actually watch everybody leave the pits. There looks like the 94 Maxwell Caldwell is going to win the fight out of the pits. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for all the drivers here that just made that pit stop. So let's go and we'll go through the field here real quick and see. We've got the 83 Jack Walls will be shown as our leader. And then behind him is the 16, our pole sitter, Christopher Kresge. And then in third is the 11 of Gaston Arellano. And then I believe those are the 3 that stayed out under this yellow. And there he went, that 77 car of Benjamin Combs. Benjamin now in the back on the lead lap here. So that's going to give us 30 cars of the 33 back on the lead lap here at Indianapolis. So as we'll do is we'll step away for just a brief moment here. So I say, since this is a bigger track, they do have the fast cautions here, which is very helpful. So say we'll step away for just a moment and we'll get things going on the one to go.
I mean, another.
Yeah, we could look at doing that.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna try something new here. We're gonna actually pull in 2 of our driver and a crew, or sorry, a spotter combo here. It's gonna be the 92 here of Anthony Ray. Looks like they're gonna restart around the 12th position, started 23rd. So we're gonna listen in on them on this restart here to listen to that driver and spotter communications and see how, kind of see what they're going, what they got going on here.
Let's go get one. All right. Stacking up now. Green flag. Rolling good. Rolling good. Not rolling good. Checking up. Coming inside. Inside. Clear. Inside. Clear to the bottom, get to the bottom. Bottom. Okay, P12. One inside.
Super loose. I hooked the apron there and almost lost it.
Yeah, you're good. One inside. One more coming inside. One inside. Into you a little bit. One inside. One inside, clear the bottom, get to the bottom, get to the bottom. Top line's checking up. One inside, 3.
All right, so we'll do a quick one. Say he sees that middle through. I don't want to bother him too much there, but say really cool that Anthony's got an actual spotter there with him. I say that's Carter Talley there spotting for that number 92 of Anthony Ray. As you can see, a lot of stuff going on there. So you actually middle 3 wide there at one point of that restart there. So say a lot of business going on there, especially kind of right now up to the top 10 in that 92 car. Started 23rd, so a really good jump for him so far in this race. Again, still a long ways to go, but you could see though Carter definitely trying to keep Anthony in a safe spot there. You can see it kind of sounds like the bottom was where he wanted to be there. So we'll jump back up front though. Right now still showing their race leader is with that 83 of Jack Walls. Right behind him is Maxwell Caldwell. Again, Jack stayed out under that yellow. Maxwell is on fresher tires and, of course, has a little bit more fuel. So say kind of a neat little thing to try there, Steve. I'll say, well, maybe see if we can do that some more there. Actually, it's pretty interesting to listen to on that side of things as well. So I'm used to just the normal built-in spotter, so pretty cool having an actual friend or teammate help you out there.
Yeah, it was really interesting to listen to the way they worked together and the way the spotter helped him constantly, knowing where people were around him. That's extremely valuable, way better than the spotter we get with the sim.
Yeah, so we're going to have to make some friends here and see if we can get some real-time spotters for our races here in the future. Oh, big crash in the back. I saw the 16 car involved. Actually no yellow yet because they're still inside or down on the inside. There's the 16 of Christopher Kresge. Caution is now out. 16 was involved, as it looks like the 222 of Jared Kaczynski. Big hit. You can see that the 222 car here right now just completely tracking. He's having to have the wheel all the way to the right to try to track this thing straight. But it's unfortunate that 16 went ahead and had to take a tow right off the bat there to try to get that damage repaired and get back on track. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what happened here. Leaders are coming up to the pace car, so let's go and see what happened under this wreck here.
This should give David O'Clair in the 50 his lap back, right? They have a wave around in this or no?
Yes, I believe this will get David back on the lead lap, as from what I can tell. All right, so we got the replay pulled up here. As you see that 16 kind of on the top side here in 3 coming into turn 4. So we'll speed things up just a little bit. You can see, oh yeah, just right off the bat, just too high there. Catches the outside wall, and I believe we've seen this happen a few times before. Once they catches that wall, it definitely sends them back down the track. But actually looks like, oh, he gets a little bit of help there. Couldn't tell that orange and white car who made contact with him there, but unfortunately that then puts him into the path of that 222 of Jared Kaczynski. Nothing Jared could do there. Saying just heavy contact for both cars to that inside wall. And saying then the 16 just winds up doing some barrel rolls here down the pit entry pretty much. And saying luckily actually able to bring out the yellow, because I think that's gonna be able to get him back in contention here with a caution. Otherwise he would have been in bad shape there. But yeah, that poor car was a pinball or a ping pong ball, if you will, or pinball, if you will.
Interesting that both of those accidents that started with somebody hitting the wall like that were off of turn 4.
Yeah, so far it seems like turn 4 might be the trouble spot this evening. I don't know if it's maybe just because you don't have that grass to the inside to kind of maybe make you feel a little bit more comfortable. So I wasn't sure which car that was that made the initial contact to kind of push him up a little worse, unfortunately. However, though, pit stops are underway here. Looks like Jack Walls is going to be the first to pit here. And it looks like our driver spotter communication we just listened to a little earlier, Anthony Ray, he's going to stay out here, going to be our race leader. Gary Corley looks like he stayed out as well in that 65, as well as the 05 and the 54, I believe. So we'll kind of get these things on this pit order here, kind of cycled through here once we get this one to go. All right, lights are off on the pace car. 1 to go here. Looks like, again, our top 4 actually stayed out here. Anthony Ray, Gary Corley, Charles Teed, and AJ Musselman. And the first out of the pits was Jack Walls in that number 83 car. So those are going to be our top 5 here. But yeah, so right now, not too much difference on the pit strategy. And then Steven mentioned to me that 50 of, where did he go there? Just lost his name.
Eric Leclerc.
David Leclerc, there it was. Yeah, 50 of David Leclerc. He got his lap back under that caution. So he's now back on the lead lap as well. So we're back to 30 cars on the lead lap. And then we've got still the 16 of Christopher Kresge is 1 lap down. And unfortunately, John Brill still shown as 2 laps down.
So it'll be interesting to watch Anthony Ray here and see what he does.
Yeah, so now he's got lead. I say we'll let them be on this restart here. Probably a little less busy for him there as well. So we're gonna watch this restart here from the rear gearbox of that 92 car. Say looking back at the 65 of Gary Corley, and I'll see how they're able to get through the gears here on this restart here. We're gonna restart with 50 to go of the scheduled 75 laps. Unfortunately, looks like a little bit of connectivity issues for that 92 car. Oh, I see trouble further back there. I don't know if that was the 17. It kind of looked like the paint scheme. Oh, it is, unfortunately. 17 of Chad Wilkes going to get involved here on this restart. Looks like might be able to get this car back up and running. I say he's on his wheels. A lot of damage, though, to that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So let's go ahead. Yeah, he's rolling now. See if he can limp that thing to the pits. Definitely in bad shape there. So let's go ahead and see what happened to that number 17 Chad Wilkes here under this that caused this yellow here.
Looks like it started with a wall hit a little bit farther up.
All right, let's go take a look, see if we can find where it all started.
It is whoever was in 3, 4, 5, 6th place. 7th place.
Yeah, actually it looks like it. Yeah, I think it started right with that 17, and it looks like the 83. Maybe he looks like he kind of maybe reacted to him. We'll say we'll pull it up here on the replay. So you see the 17 right behind the 83 there. You see him kind of react there, and just unfortunately gets right up into the wall, and then just nothing he could do there, and just catches the wall and just goes for a ride. I saw another car there catch. I think that may have been Roy Wheeler. Hopefully not. You see, it looks like a few cars may have actually kind of lagged through him. But as I say that, actually no, they definitely did not. Unfortunately, that 16 of Christopher Kresge involved in this one as well. Just getting back on the lead lap. Not the one before this one. So we got a few cars involved in this one as well here, unfortunately there. I think I see that. Actually, no, it was not Roy Wheeler in the 98. That was another driver there. But yeah, so no, very, very unfortunate. It looks like maybe the 59 here. There he is. Yeah, 59 of David Camara was involved in this one. So they're trying to get to the pit, see if they can get that fast repair done as quick as they can, because right now they're right at the, they're right in their pit stall with the pace car not too far behind. So we'll see if they're able to get their pit stops done and get back out track and not get a lap down. Looks like, I don't know if David's going to do it or not. It's going to be close. So we'll try to keep an eye on where that pace car is. Here comes that 17 as well. So they're going to try to race off there. I don't think they're going to beat the pace car here. Unfortunately, you see they're coming out just right there next to that 92 car. We'll see. We'll have to find out what iRacing tells them there. Again, mixed strategy on pit stops, though. It looks like about the top 15 or so are staying out here. And we'll see. I believe this has been the caution that John Brill has been looking for, and sure enough, it is. That's going to put now John Brill from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. Steve and I were talking about that under the caution earlier, where when you're trapped 2 laps down, you have to really hope for some luck to get to at least back to that 1 down to be able to challenge again to get back onto the lead lap. Otherwise, you kind of keep getting trapped there. So luckily for John, he's able to get that this time around. So he's going to be 1 lap down here, which is going to be huge for his chances to try to get back on the lead lap here and challenge for the win here tonight at Indy.
Yep, and it looks like he'll have some company on the one lap down.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like we got about 4 cars actually showing one down here. You're going to have David Camara, Chad Wilkes, Christopher Kresge, and John Brill. The other thing we mentioned is their drivers do have the 2 fast repairs. I believe, unfortunately, for that 16 car, that's probably going to be his last fast repair that he had. So he's going to have to play it safe, I feel like, at this point in the race. Maybe just kind of ride and try to stay out of trouble here. So he won the pole for the race, and saying, unfortunately, it's kind of just gone downhill for him from there at this point. All right, so lights are off on the pace car. We are on the 1 to go. So let's say right now our top 5 is showing in as Anthony Ray in the 92, Gary Corley in the 65, Charles Teed in the 05, AJ Musselman, and Jack Walls. Say right now the first driver that pitted under that yellow was Charles Johnson in the 28 car. And right now pretty much the top 4 haven't pitted under the last 2 yellows, and then from Jack Walls on back, they pitted under the second to most recent caution. However, again, that was a really quick one, so I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference on the tires or fuel at this point for those drivers. Alright, so last time we went from the gearbox of that 92 car. This time let's try from the cockpit of the 65 car of Gary Corley. So you see, unfortunately, one of those, so I think there's actually a lap car here in front of the leader. I want to take a look at that real quick, because that could play an interesting role in this one. Let's say, oh no, actually looks like he's having to drop to the back, unfortunately. I think that may have been David Camara there. I see Chad Wilkes in the pits right now still as well. Not sure if he's getting serviced or if something's going on with that 17 car. So we're going to hop on board with the 65 here as they come out of turn number 4. And we're going to go on this restart from the cockpit of that number 65 target machine. And we're going to see what he's able to do here on this restart. Pace car is in. So wait for that green flag to fly, and they're going to get back underway here with 46 to go. So far you see kind of keeping a bit of a gap here. I think what you're going to see is now he's going to grab that draft here, get a big run out of turn 2. Jump to the outside of that race leader here. He's going to get to that top side here. You can see right now that top 8 or so are all right here bundled together there. So let's see. Oh, 3 wide contact there.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah, it was like Eric Schaus there, and AJ Musselman in the 54. Saw them contact. Oh, more cars getting involved here. So you see a few of those drivers trying to hang on to it there, but unfortunately kind of spinning around as well as they see the 31. Oh man, that 72 was so close to being able to get back on its wheels, but unfortunately got tipped over there. I think I see the 90, unfortunately, of John Brill is involved as well. Doesn't look like too much damage. Maybe hopefully just front wing for him. That way he doesn't have to use a fast repair. He could just get a wing repair. Let's actually take a look, see if that wheel is tracking straight or not on that 90 car. Looks like it is. So I think John might be able to get away without using a fast repair. You could definitely just do a wing replacement there. But unfortunately, it looks like AJ Musselman and Eric Schaus here are going to have to take a tow under this yellow. We'll see who the beneficiary of this one is, of those cars that are 1 lap down at the moment. However, let's go ahead and see what happened here to bring out this most recent yellow.
It looks like the 39.
Hello, guys.
Went in there a 3 wide going into, I guess that's turn 3, and the poor person in the middle got looks like a net code, unfortunately, and it shot him up into the car that was on the outside.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this replay here, see how everything unfolded under this yellow. Sorry about the delay on that one, guys. So you see the 39 car here underneath the 22 and the 72. And then, oh yeah, Steven mentioned the net code, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. And it's saying that slides him up into the 22, which then into the 72. And then said, unfortunately, from there, just contact and along for the ride. They both go there. So really unfortunate there for Eric Schaus, and then AJ Musselman. Nothing they did wrong, just wrong place, wrong time. And again, we talked about the connectivity netcode issues there. So that's what caused that. Oh, you see Charles Johnson get into it as well. Here comes the 77. Looks like he also gets a bit of a shot as well. Say that 77 car. Actually, who is that one? Didn't quite catch the name of that driver. Benjamin Combs. That's right. So say that's how all that happened. However, say we're already back on the 1 degree, and say again, apologies for the delays on getting that pulled up here. So let's go ahead and jump to the front of the field here again. Looks like now leader is going to be showing as Maxwell Caldwell. So say I'll step away for just a quick second, and we'll be back here with you shortly. All right, we are back here. Lights are off. So we're coming through turns 3 and 4. Going to put it into the hands now of Maxwell Caldwell. Jack Walls in second. Gaston Ariano in third. Jim Brooks fourth, and Bud Steele are at the top 5. I'm going to restart 42 to go. So initial start was pretty green here. Say it's gotten a little bit caution heavy on since then. However, we talked about those laps back here. It looks like we've got 4 drivers here. 1 lap down, and then 1 driver 2 laps down. So it's going to now put it into the hands, though, of Maxwell Caldwell. As we get back to green flag racing, you see he's got a pretty close gap there between him and the 83. Jack is going to be ready to pounce there on the restart. Oh, as I said, it looks like Jack may have... Oh, actually, it looks like a restart crash here. Haven't seen where it was yet on track. It looks like we had a caution, though, right at the start. Trying to see where it all happened here. Oh no, it's the same car there. It's the 54. AJ Musselman. So his night's gone from bad to worse here. Let's go ahead and see what happened to that 54 here.
I'm seeing is Harrison Womack in the 5 car got a better restart than Ted Deckard in the 79, and it looks like he either got into him or there may have been a little net code. It's hard to tell.
Let's go ahead and pull it up here.
Sorry, I missed something there. Our friend Anthony Ray ran into Deckard, who I guess had backed off.
Oh yeah, you see the 5 car reacting to the 79 car, and yeah, the 92 jumps to the top there, and then unfortunately contact between them, and then unfortunately I think then further back, a bit of a stack up there further back. You see that 59 able to get to the bottom here, and then we're gonna see. So you see the drivers further up here, they're ready to go. Oh, and you see John Brill gets a little bit of hit from behind. Oh, and that's that's what then stacks up. We kind of talked about those accordion effects on those restarts. So it was the 31, the 54 then made contact. And yeah, so that's just an unfortunate circumstance there with the restarts here at Indy. It's such a long straightaway. It's really hard to to time it well if someone messes up in front of you or something like that. So that's kind of how everything stacks up on that one. So yeah, so we're back under yellow here. Really unfortunate there for AJ Musselman. A lot of damage to that 54 car. So yeah, so caution's back out. We got a few drivers here. Looks like had to are in the pits. Probably some fast repairs involved as well. And yeah, so we'll see if anybody was able to maybe take advantage of that quick yellow and maybe get their lap back. Just depends on who was involved or not involved in this incident. So while that's all being sorted out, we'll step away for just a moment and then we'll get things back going again here shortly. All right, so we're on the one to go coming out of turn number 4. I'll say obviously had that quick accordion restart caution. Unfortunately, that does happen from time to time. Here at Indy, it's like these long straightaways are so long and just it's so easy for that to happen, especially on these single file restarts. So we're gonna kind of rack them up and do it again. Here, gonna restart with 40 to go again of the scheduled 75 laps. Maxwell Caldwell, Jack Wells, Gaston Arellano are our top 3. We are back underway. We'll see if we're able to get things going a little better this time around. David Camara in the 59 was the lucky dog. He's back on the lead lap. We've got 28 drivers on the lead lap. 2 cars, 1 lap down, which is Eric Schaus and John Brill. AJ Musselman and Chad Wilkes are showing as 2 laps down at the moment.
And I'd just like to say, look who's in the lead.
Yeah, so your predictions are coming out pretty well here, Steve. So you've noticed that 94 early on looked like he's going to be one to move to the front, and he sure enough has. We'll see how he's able to protect here now. He looks like that 11 Gaston Arellano up to second, going for the lead off of 4. Doesn't quite get the momentum I think he's going to need at the line. Let's see as they get to the line, just to about the side pod of that 94. So Maxwell Caldwell still going to lead this lap. But you can see a new driver jumping into the mix here is the 09 of Corey Cook. Let's say Corey's here now on the inside, going to see if maybe make that inside line work. We got that Caterpillar machine there. Say behind him, Jim Brooks in the 76. Say here comes the rest of the field, all starting to stack up here. You're going to have to be extremely careful as they come through turn 3. Pretty much the whole field again running 2x2 here, as say at about 215, 220 miles an hour. Yeah, you see Maxwell protecting that inside line as best he can as we just crossed the halfway point of the race. But here comes Gaston Ariano at the stripe. Didn't quite get the lead there, but he's got a lot of momentum now working the top side over Maxwell Caldwell. But you can see, though, he's going to be under attack now from that 09 for the second position. But yeah, right now these drivers definitely all dicing it out right now, trying to figure out where they got to position their cars. I say one thing I haven't mentioned is the track conditions: 68 degrees, track temp, or sorry, ambient temp 82 degrees, track temperature. It's mostly cloudy, so the track temp is not too high. Oh, close between the 09 and the 11 there. So looking like up, as I say, the 09 is going to jump to the top side. These top four kind of split away a little bit from the from 5th place, not by much, maybe about a car length or so, but. With these cars, it seems like that's a bunch of space though for the way they've been racing so far tonight. So right now things still holding pretty steady up front. As I say, that caution just came out there. It looks like the 24 is involved in this one. Oh, see one in the background there as well. I believe that's Bud Steele in the 6. Looks like he had to take a tow already. He went, yeah, so he's going to go ahead and get that done. That's Jeff Clark in the 24 car. Say Bud Steele's involved as well. He's already towed to the pits here. Let's go ahead and see what happened under this most recent yellow between those two drivers and possibly others that we did not catch yet.
Wow. I don't know what happened. I mean, it looks like...
Looks like 24 just washed up really badly there in entry of in the one. I think he just entered too shallow from where I'm looking at here.
Either that or he blew a right front tire. That's what it looks like. I know that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think just lost the entry mark, unfortunately. Nowhere for Bud to go. Gets into the back of him. Oh, and wow, some serious air for that 6 of Bud Steele. The top of the catch fence pretty much there. Then comes back down on track. Looks like it might just be the 2 of them involved in this one. I say it looks like all the drivers doing a really good job of trying to get on the brakes and avoid it. You see a lot of drivers here going through the grass as well to get underneath it. So great heads up there for those drivers. Oh, really close call there for one that's just snuck through there. So yeah, so I think it's just going to be those drivers involved. So I believe pit stops are underway here. So let's jump over to that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Say probably going to see a little bit of a mixed bag of strategies again. I think these guys might be doing some backwards math here to figure out when they need to pit to make it to the end or minimize the number of stops needed as well. Looks like Jack Walls is going to stay out and take over the lead. So say while these drivers make their pit stops here, we'll step away again for just a moment, and then we'll get things going again on the one to go. All right, we're back on the one to go. Going to restart with 32 to go. Beneficiary of that caution was John Burl, who was 2 laps down earlier. Now is back on the lead lap. Still have Eric Schaus 1 lap down. Bud Steele now, unfortunately, 1 down due to that. I don't know if you want to call it the floor exercise pole vault, if you will. I'm not sure what you want to call it on that one, but he did some serious air there in that 6 car. AJ Musselman still showing 2 down. Unfortunately, Chad Wilkes is 3 down. Not the way he wanted to start out his championship defense tonight in the Indy Series, but I say those races unfortunately happen from time to time. So we're going to do that one more time. Is we're going to actually try to do that driver spotter communications with that 92 car of Anthony Ray here. We'll go and listen to them as we get back to green here.
Okay.
I think we're going to be great on fuel here. I think we'll just barely make it.
Yeah, just tucked in.
Strategy here.
Race car's off. Green flag now. One inside. Clear the bottom. Clear the bottom still. Nice work. Keep the draft. One inside. One inside again. Clear the bottom.
Got real loose coming out of 3 there.
One inside. One inside. There's about to be somebody looking 3 wide. Looking clear.
You're inside?
You clear, yeah. One inside. 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 Yeah, give him room. One inside. Clear to the bottom. Nice work, man.
I got.
All right, so there's a lap there with Anthony Ray. Moved up to the 3rd position already on this restart. And I say we stole a little bit of extra info there as well. It sounds like they're going to be right on the fuel window there. So it sounds like it's going to be about that 30 laps or so to make it to the end, to say. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So as I say that, though, fastest lap of the race this last time by that 28 of Charles Johnson there. As you see the 50 of David Leclerc there, we mentioned him in that earlier incident with the net code. He's going to go for the lead here on the backstretch, and here comes Eric Schaus. He's going to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way in that 72. Oh, as I say that, though, caution is out. So trying to see where it may be. Looks like the 59 is involved. Oh, David Camara. I also something I noticed while I was watching that as well was that 59 car was actually missing the rear engine cover. I don't know if you saw that on your screen as well there, Steve, but I noticed that for David there. I'm pretty sure I didn't see a rear engine cover on that 59 machine.
No, I actually hadn't noticed that.
All right, so let's go and see what happened here to David Camara here in that 59 car. So we'll jump over to him here. So he's in the middle of just a hornet's nest, if you will, of Indy cars here. Oh, a little bit of contact there from that 65 car, and a little more contact actually between the 65 and the 59. And unfortunately, that pushes that 59 up into the wall, and he just goes for a ride there. So contact between him and Gary Corley there. I say we'll go back and look from the 65's point of view here. So I say we'll actually take a look, see if we can look from the chopper cam, maybe get a better angle of this one here. So we're on the 65 here, and you're going to see the 59 here make a pretty big charge to the top side. The top side had a lot of momentum there. So you're going to see here that bright red is the 65, and then just behind him here, coming to the outside, is that 59 car. So he gets to the outside, and you'll see the 65 kind of duck a little bit to the right. I think actually reacting to that car in front of him. You see a little bit of contact there. Oh, and actually you see he has to react again to that car in front of him. I can't quite tell which driver that is there. But unfortunately, then more contact between the two of them, and then that just pushes that 59 into the wall and sends David there for a ride, unfortunately. So I say I'm sure David feels a little bit different about that. Probably felt like he got pretty used up there on that one. But I say when that chopper view is actually a pretty good view to see what happened there. Unfortunately for Gary, he just had to react to those cars around him there to not try to not get hit from him. So just kind of ran out of space, if you will.
I don't know how it looks on your screen, but actually the second hit, the one that actually caused the accident, is another. It looks like another net code, at least on my end.
Yeah, so it was hard to see. It kind of looked like a bit of contact between them. So yeah, it seems like they're having a hard time with that. However, say we're talking about that 72 of Eric Shaw's maybe trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Doesn't have to. He's going to get it back here. That's going to put Eric back on the lead lap. Going to show him now in the 29th position at the moment. I say again, we're under yellow here with 28 to go. It looks like on the pit stop cycle, not a lot of takers under this recent yellow. So we'll let things cycle through again here once we get that one to go, and then we'll see how things are sorted out here after that. All right, we are back on one to go. Pace car's going to be coming off for. We're going to get things going again with 26 to go, again, of the scheduled 75. Still showing Jack Walls as our race leader. See, David Leclerc has recovered up into the second position after having to use that fast repair. And so we kind of listened in on Anthony Ray in that previous restart. He's up to third, a really good restart for him as we're back under green here at Indianapolis.
So something I noticed in that last little green flag run, I don't know what Anthony adjusted on his car, but that thing seemed like it was a rocket ship on that last run. Now, it could have been just a difference between his tires and the people ahead of him, because I see he's getting past now. But the other thing I noticed, when you have cars that are fairly equal, it's extremely hard to pass on the outside. We saw a battle a while ago. And I forget which two cars it was between, but the one on the outside was fighting really hard for the lead. And when he had somebody behind him pushing, he could almost push him to the lead, but not quite. But as soon as that person ducked down into the low line, the person on the outside just slid back.
Yeah, let's say you're talking about being tough to pass on the outside. Maxwell Caldwell was able to do just that. However, unfortunately, we had a crash on the front stretch here. Looked like the 12 of Robert Richards was involved. Couldn't see who else was in there, so we're gonna pull this up here real quick. I say like you mentioned, it seems like turn 4 has definitely been the trouble area here. So say we're gonna go back and see. Oh yeah, okay. So it looks like it actually started here in turn number 4. You can see that 12 car Robert Richards here is getting a little bit too high out of turn. I think it's actually turn number 3 here. Still is in okay shape, but then in turn number 4 this is where he actually gets a little bit pushes a little more. Actually, you see there looks like he has to react to the 76 of Jim Brooks, who was reacting to the 131, I believe, of Craig Forsyth. Gets him into the outside wall. You can see that right front wing damage already on that car, and then from there, I think it may have also thrown off the suspension as well, because then he goes back much harder contact. That's most likely going to damage the suspension of that 12 car. And then you can see he's just trying to hang on to it here. Actually looked like he was going to maybe make a pit stop there, but gets back on track here. And then so we'll try to keep an eye on things here. And yeah, it looks like that car is just too damaged to try to be able to do anything with it. And you can see he's working hard on the wheel, trying to keep it under control. Unfortunately, just winds up losing it there on the front stretch. Hits the inside wall, which I believe then is going to send him back into the path of, let's see, if Bud Steele. Yeah, unfortunately, Bud Steele is the unlucky victim on that one. He goes for a ride in that 6 car. So Bud takes a pretty big hit there as well. And I don't believe it. Oh, as I said, here comes, oh no, is that the 90 of John Brill? He gets involved as well. Looks like he was just kind of stuck on the top side, nowhere he could go either. Again, I'm running super slow-mo. These guys are going 220 or so in this. So unfortunate for John Brill, also heavy hit for him. It was actually a 6 of Bud Steele gets another shot. I believe that was the 48 of
Yes,
James Ledford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh man, really unfortunate for some of those drivers there. So, so we're back under yellow after those big hits from some of those drivers here. Looks like Maxwell Caldwell is going to stay out, as is Anthony Ray. Looks like a handful of them here staying out, but I believe the drivers that are pitting here, I'm guessing they're probably going to be done pitting after this most recent caution. So right now, I'm still showing 28 on the lead lap. Not sure if anybody got a lap back or not. I'm showing John Brill as 1 down. And then, so I'm not sure if anybody got their lap back under this one. I'll say there's so much going on trying to keep track of it. Apologies for that, but so again, we'll step away for just a moment. We'll get the running order sorted here. Once we get that one to go, let the ticker get everything updated, and we'll restart here with just over 20 to go, I believe. All right, we're back on the 1 to go. Lights are off on the pace car. So actually, the 54 of AJ Musselman was the beneficiary of that caution. So he's going to go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down, which is going to put him in contention to get back onto the lead lap. He's going to be fighting with that 90 of John Brill. And right now, Chad Wilkes is still showing 3 laps down. And unfortunately, say for Bud Steele, he's still in the pits as 3 down as well. Not sure if he has any fast repairs remaining in that 6 car or not. But yeah, so he definitely went for a ride there as well. So, however, up front, looks like the top 4 stayed out from a couple yellows ago. And then we have from Eric Schaus in 8th on up. They pitted 2 yellows ago. And then from David Leclerc in 9th on back, they all pitted under this most recent yellow. So, we mentioned that difficulty passing on the top side, Steve, but say before that yellow came out, Maxwell was able to make it happen. So we talked about him being looking like he might be strong tonight, and he's definitely putting it to the truth here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can hang on to it after this restart. See what Anthony Ray is able to do here. And I see that Jim Brooks has snuck up to 3rd place.
Yeah, so it's like some of these drivers started towards the back of, kind of been patient, made their way towards the front here. Say Anthony Ray starting 23rd up to 2nd, Jim Brooks 31st to 3rd. I say some of those other drivers there, 18th, 19th, 32nd, all in the top 6 as well. So really good job for them. And also one to mention is Christopher Kresge in the 16 car, the pole sitter. He's back up to 7th after starting on the pole and kind of having some difficulties. However, looks like we're under a quick yellow here right off the bat. So trying to catch what car number it is. Looks like the 65 of Gary Corley is involved. No front wing or rear wing on that car, so he's definitely going to need to get some service done to that one and some serious suspension damage as well. So let's go ahead and pull up and see what happened under this most recent yellow here. Say just over 20 to go here. All right, just got it pulled up here. Go ahead, Steve.
Looks like he just tried to squeeze his car in a spot that it wasn't going to fit.
Yeah, I see that kind of the 88 and the 65 going for the same real estate there. Did not end well for the 65 for sure. Definitely saw some damage to the 88 of Michael's Spell as well. We'll take a look at Michael's car here in just a moment. Looks like that's about as far as Gary went there. Yeah, some pretty heavy damage to the front of that 65 car. Also some rear damage as well, as I think he had some contact behind him. Couldn't quite tell which car that was that got into him afterwards. But yeah, some pretty decent damage to that 88, unfortunately, of Michael's Spell as well. I'm trying to see if I can catch who it was that was behind him there.
Looks like it was Jack Walls.
Jump over to the 83 car. Let's take a look. May have, I think he's okay. So he's right behind him. I see that too. Let's see. Let me go back a little further here. Roy Wheeler. No, it wasn't Roy. See, now we're playing guess the damage, huh?
Yes.
Nah, not seeing too much here. And it looks like we have some pit stops actually going on. So I said we'll jump here to the current. So it looks like Maxwell Caldwell is in. Trying to see who's going to be the first of staying out. Looks like the 76 of Jim Brooks is going to stay out here, take over the lead here with just under 20 to go now. He's definitely had so actually it looks like the pit stops are going to be a little lonely here. So some of these drivers may be regretting this pit decision here.
Wow.
Yeah, as you can see there's a lot of drivers that have stayed out under this yellow. So I think Maxwell and them are going to fall back into into the 20s actually, it looks like, with this cycle.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, you think you have the right strategy, and then it comes back to bite you sometimes. But it's not over yet. And so you just saw there on the outside that 90 of John Brill back on the lead lap here. So that's going to put John back on the lead lap. So he was on the lead lap, then got involved in another incident. So now he's back again. Hopefully this time for good for John. I say he's had some hard luck so far this evening. I'm going to say a little bit of bias, but I say definitely want to see John do well as well. Also because he was able to put on that exhibition race on Sunday. with the Chandler Signs group there for the Indy series at Auto Club Speedway. So, like I said, a little bit of bias on my end, but it's always nice to see some of those guys have some good runs, especially with races like tonight when they have some of those difficulties, though. So, with that being said, though, we're under yellow here again, so we'll step away for just a brief moment, and then we'll get things going again on the one to go. All right, we are back with the one to go. We mentioned that pit stop strategy, and yeah, this is definitely a very mixed bag right now. So right now we're just commenting the top 5 right now. Started 31st, 18th, 32nd, 20th, and 10th. So definitely been some movers and comers and goers, if you will, in this race. And those that just pitted there, the first one out of the pits was Maxwell Caldwell in the 94 car, and he's going to restart 19th. So he's going to be going from nice, clean air, everything's going well, to having to really work hard here to try to get back into the mix on this one. Of course, obviously, yellows can definitely change that for in a lot of ways, good or bad. So that's going to be the other thing too, Steve, is that he's going to be back in some pretty heavy traffic here on this restart.
Yeah, and one thing I don't know, because I haven't driven these cars enough, is I don't know what kind of a difference the tires are going to make for him right now. It could be that he's going to be so much faster than a lot of the cars ahead of him that he'll be able to move up quickly. But, I mean, being back in 19th with fresh stuff compared to the people ahead of you, that's a dangerous spot.
Yeah, we talked about that accordion effect in these restarts. That's the first thing they have to be extremely careful about here. As you see at 76, Jim Brooks is going to lead the field to the green flag once it flies. Looks like we are back underway at Indy. And say, yeah, so right now those top 2 actually pitted about 18 laps ago. 3rd and 4th pitted about 12 laps ago. And then from David Leclerc on back, just 7. So his tires, unfortunately, aren't that much fresher than about 5th on back. So I think his work is definitely going to be cut out for him in that 94 car. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. However, right now we've got a really good battle here again going on with that 24 car. Has made a really good recovery. Jeff Clark, as I say that, here comes Eric Schaus to the top side. He's going to try to make this top groove happen here. As soon as I say that, though, you see Jeff Clark's going to try to make the kind of make the inside work for him. Then say we talked about the 41 as well. I'm trying to remember the name that you fixed it for me earlier, Steve. I'm blanking on it now. What was that last name for us for Ryan?
Hold on.
Oh, contact actually. 72. Oh my good. Oh, I don't know how Eric Schaus hung on to that one. That was amazing driving by that 72 car, keeping it pointed in the right direction and stays green. Really, really good heads up driving by Eric Schaus there. But man, what a moment there for him. He's going to lose a few spots there, but he's going to be back still in contention here. And I mean, that's going to be the key thing. However, up front, Jeff Clark's trying to make the top side work here off of turn number 4. Right now he is in the fight for the lead here with Jim Brooks. You see David Leclerc there right behind. Here comes Craig Forsyth in that 131 as well. And so say it didn't take long, and say we've got everybody here back under a blanket as they come through the start or through the turn 1 and 2 here with 15 to go.
Well, that was Wachter.
That's right. It was Ryan Wachter. I couldn't remember. So that's the 41 car, who's still showing in the 5th position there on the inside of that Halvolin car. But say right now, though, I don't know if there's a good place that you want to be in this mess right now. I don't know. I'm actually maybe feeling a little bit good if I'm towards the back there with those drivers that just pitted under this yellow.
Well, I've been watching Maxwell Caldwell, and he's gained 2 spots so far. He doesn't appear to be much faster than the people ahead of him. I don't know if he's being conservative or what, but now he's come up on a bunch of cars that
Oh,
are
big
right,
crash.
and there's an accident.
Oh
which-
my goodness, there's
uh,
massive crash. I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep track of all the cars that were involved in this one. I say 76 of Jim Brooks is one that we're watching. I say he was in there. I say I know he was in VR there on that crash, and I don't think that felt very good for him. However, he's able to keep it driving here. But oh my goodness, that was something else there. So we're gonna have to see who actually survived that incident, because I say I know Indy doesn't really know for like the big ones, but this was a big one. All right, so I think it started right around towards the front. So actually a three-way battle for the lead with the 50 of David Leclerc, Jim Brooks, and I believe that was the 24 as well. So say we're gonna take a look here, see if we can find a good angle of this. You see the 50
I'm
there.
looking at chopper view, and it looks like another net code.
Oh, a big net code, you're right, between the 76 and the 24 there. I say nothing the 24 could do. And I say unfortunately that just brings him right across the path. 131 there. Who else is? I think that was the 5 that was involved in this one as well. Oops, wrong car. Yeah, so 131, the 5. I say, and then there's some more behind, because actually you see the 131 just ricochets off the outside wall back across the track. I say again, I'm gonna try to see if I can catch everybody involved here, but honestly there's so many cars in this one. It's gonna be pretty tough to try to. I say we'll actually go up top. Nah, you can't really see anything from there.
There's actually, and there's a second wreck that's not any part of the first one.
Oh, so that was the second one that we were looking at too. Then okay.
Yeah, was it Jim? Looks like
Jim Brooks, yeah, and I don't know if was it with the 50 then possibly of David Leclerc. Then I'm guessing. So we'll go back here and take a look.
Yeah, that also looks like it may have been a little net code.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a look at this one real quick as they enter the turn. Yeah, it's hard to say on that one. Looked like maybe a little bit of contact. We'll say, I'll do what you mentioned here. Let's take a look on the chopper view. You see the 76 there. It takes a peek to the inside. Oh, yeah, I think just a little bit of contact to the left front, or yeah, right front to left rear. And saying, unfortunately, both of those drivers there go for a ride as well. So, like I said, 2 separate incidents and some serious contact. And saying, again, we saw 76 go for a ride live. It looks like the 50 also went for a pretty decent ride himself, able to stay pointed straight or stay on his wheels. Not sure if he had any fast repairs or not left, however. Let's say I actually looks like David Leclerc has retired. So this is going to change everything, honestly, because that was a lot of drivers involved here. We're going to see who was able to actually stay on the lead lap, had fast repairs remaining. I mean, this whole race is going to kind of have a pretty big change here with just probably about 10 to go here on this restart. So yeah, so right now I'm actually showing our race leader now is going to be that 39 of Andrew McMurray. Eric Schaus up to second still after his moments. I'll say he's been able to recover. You've got Corey Cook in third, Gaston Ariano in fourth, and then was it the 41 I think? Yeah, Ryan Wachter. So did I say that right again, Steve? I for whatever reason I'm having troubles with the names.
Wachter.
Wachter. Come on now.
Wax on, wax off.
All right. One of these years I'll get it right. So anyway, we'll step away for just a moment here, until we get that one to go, and yeah, we'll see what we're gonna have happen here. We're probably gonna restart with just about 10 to go. All right, back on the one to go here. So Andrew McMurray in the 39 is going to be our race leader here. Eric Schaus has kind of had an up and down day. He's back at the up point. Hopefully it stays there for him. Corey Cook up into the third. I was saying again, we talked about the fourth and fifth at Gaston Gariano, and then Ryan Wachter. I got it. One of these years, I will get it. I promise. As I say, then 6 through 10, we have Charles T, David Camara, Jack Walls, Robert Richards, and Charles Johnson. Maxwell Caldwell showing in 11th, so we're about to get going here again. We're going to restart with 10 to go, again, scheduled of the 75 distance. We'll see if we can get there, or if we're going to have any green-white checkers. However, really good start there for Andrew in that 39 car. You see the top three have really spread out on this initial start here, but again, we talked about the drafts of these cars. Let's say we're going to see that 72 with a huge head of steam here. We'll actually hop on board with that 72, watch him grab the draft of that 39 car, and we'll see if he's able to do anything with him here as they go through the backstretch. But actually right now, I don't know, I think the 72 is going to be playing possum, I believe it's called, where you don't show your full hand right away here. However, he's going to have his hands full with that 09 though of Corey Cook right behind there in the third spot. Looks like Corey's going to try to make this topside happen. We've seen Corey do that earlier. I'm saying right now, making that topside happen. 3 wide actually there. Say one in the middle, backs out of it. That was a really smart move there by Gaston. Yep. That was really smart there by Gaston, back out of that one, because that would have been really bad there. Say again, we still got plenty of time to make that move later in the race. And again, with the draft as well, he's going to have opportunities as well in that number 11 car.
Who's coming, Guile?
Uh-oh. I think I hear a Maxwell Caldwell showing up in the distance. Yep. Maxwell's showing, I believe, 9th that last time by, but yeah, like you said, definitely making some ground here. So we'll see where he cycles through this time around. It looks like it's going to be about the 6th or 7th position with a huge head of steam here. He's going to jump to the top side right now. As I said, we have another caution, though. It looks like the number 5 was involved. That's not the 5, that's the 5. Harrison Womack, unfortunately, involved in this one. Again, heavy damage to his car. Let's go and see what happened to bring this most recent caution out here. All right, let's see. We're jumping over to the 5. Looks like he's next to the 131. Let's see here. He cuts to the inside. Oh, tries to do kind of an undercut, if you will, I think, and just makes a little bit of contact, possibly, with that 131 of Craig Forsyth. So we'll take a better look here and see if there was contact or no, or actually just catches the grass a little bit, trying to do that what do you want to call the over-under move there, and then unfortunately slides to the inside, catches that inside wall, and then that's just going to bounce him back up across the track. And that's what's going to bring out that yellow here. So looks like a single car incident though. So let's say could have definitely been worse on that one. So looks like he's in the pits. Not sure if there's any fast repairs left for that 5 car. So let's say it's going to put it back into the hands of Andrew McMurray. So, and while I was showing you all of that, I had not undone the replay. So let's go back and let's show that again. I apologize, everybody. So I'm learning. I have some new little fun features I've been playing with, and still learning to do it a little bit better there. So I'm sure you all enjoyed hearing me talk about it, but let's actually show it. That's what we're looking for there. All right, let's do this one more time. So as you see here, you got the 5 car going to look at going underneath that 131, just catches the grass right there. And I think that's what upsets the balance of that 5 car. Sends Harrison into the inside wall there, and then unfortunately, that again bounces him back up to the top. So that is what you had not seen earlier. So so that's what you missed. So again, apologies for that. Little bit of growing pains. I've been trying to play with some of those replay features and things like that. So got it working this time. So say we are still under yellow. I believe we're going to get the 1 to go this time around. So we're going to go ahead and go through our top 10 here, which actually you'll see on the ticker to the left as well. Hope you're enjoying that one. Really appreciative of ATVO. They actually put this up for use. And so right now our top 10 though is Andrew McMurray, Gaston Ariano, Eric Schaus, Corey Cook, David Camara, Maxwell Caldwell, our buddy Steve's friend there in 6th. Ryan Wachter You like what I did there? I got it right.
Very good. Yep. I'm
Charles
impressed.
Teed, Jack Walls, and Anthony Ray are our top 10. All right, Steve. So we're gonna restart here with it looks like 4 to go. So say we won't be in green. Say if there's another yellow here before we get to the white, we will be in green-white checkered territory. What are you thinking you're going to be seeing here? I mean, obviously we've seen some quick yellows. We have had some decent green flag racing as well. But I feel like we're going to have at least one green-white checker because I think business is going to be picking up here.
Yeah. There's so few laps left, and you're going to have people driving very aggressively here. I'll be surprised if we make it to the end without another yellow.
We've been proven wrong before. Well, I've been proven wrong plenty of times, I should say. So we'll see if that is the case. I wouldn't put it past these guys, though, to prove me wrong. They've done it before. We've had some pretty good long green flag racing here in this league before. As I say that, you see right here the 65 of Gary Corley's going to get that waiver in here. So actually, we'll step away for just a quick moment here, and then we'll get things going on this one to go. All right, here we're on the 1 to go here. So we're gonna go one more time here. We're gonna listen to that 92 of Anthony Ray and his spotter Carter Talley here as we're gonna get going green. So we're gonna listen in.
Okay, green flag. Yeah, that was a terrible jump there. They should definitely give him a penalty for that. All right.
Got a pretty good run here.
All right. Yeah. Apparently the leader forgot how to drive. All right. Gee, that's sketchy up there. Back in the front, go high, 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 high. Dang it. All right.
Unfortunately, as they were watching there, It's actually a pretty quiet spotter radio between them. I say, but then they'll say there's trouble in front while we're trying to listen to that one. So I say we are going to get that green white checker here. So let's go ahead and see what happened there, Steve. I say we're trying to kind of keep an eye on them, listen to them. It seems like the start didn't go the way they were expecting it to, though. So yeah, so we'll have to kind of look to see how this all unfolded here. I'll say that obviously a little bit of contact there in front of him to bring out this most recent caution.
Yeah, things are, as I kind of suspected, things got very aggressive and jumbled up, and not surprised to see that happen. It's just a shame for Anthony that that it happened in a spot that he couldn't avoid.
Yeah, oh, you can see right there, that was 3 wide there entering turn 2. Looks like the 09, was it the 09? Sorry, the 39. I'm trying to catch the car number of the other. Yeah, it's 39 and 09. They were 3 wide here. And it looks like the 39 may have came in a little too soon. I'm not sure. I say obviously 3 wide there. I say let's go to our good friend, the chopper view, because chopper view seems to always tell us the truth on what happened there under these yellows. So we'll jump over to our good friend chopper. Let's see what we got here as we go into turn number 2. Yeah, actually, it looks like to me, it looks like that that 09 didn't turn in as soon as they probably could have. I say not trying to place blame or anything like that. You saw that 92 try to make a good move there to get to the top to avoid that wreck, and actually did, but unfortunately there got a little bit more contact, and from there just nothing he could do. You see a few drivers sneaking through there on the grass, and then that contact with the wall. Unfortunately for Anthony Ray, just nothing he could do there as well. He said actually another driver there caught him as well. And then pretty good shot there from that Budweiser car. Couldn't quite catch the car number of that one. So again, a pretty decent sized incident here. So again, I think we're gonna have to see if there's some faster pairs for some of these drivers to use to take advantage. Oh, is one more of the subway car. I believe that is the 90 of John Brill involved in that one as well. So yeah, so right now I see the 39 of Andrew McMurray getting back up into the front here. I see that 92 gain service looks a lot better now. Looks like they had a faster pair still in the bag for them. So up front, though, actually, we got a new leader here, the number 11 of Gaston Arellano. Eric Schaus in second, and then Maxwell Caldwell now up into third. And so this is going to bring us to attempt number 1 of up to 3 for the green-white checkers there. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see how this one all pans out here. So again, we'll step away for just a brief moment here, and we'll jump back with that one to go. All right, we are on the one to go again. Let's say we're coming out of turn number 2. So right now our race leader again is being shown as Gaston Arellano here, leading the way in that number 11 car. Again, we talked about Eric Schaus having that really up and down day for him, being a lap down or two early, getting back. I think getting damage again and coming back up as well. And then up in third now is Maxwell Caldwell. So it's kind of, I feel like it's been Steve's pick for the evening. So Maxwell bringing it back in here as well. So gotta show Steve that he knows what he's talking about, right? David Camara in fourth, and then Ryan Wachter in the fifth position. I'm totally getting that name right. I'm gonna have dreams or nightmares about it, I feel like, but I'll get it right though the rest of these way.
I think I would have had more trouble with guessing Ariano.
That's why I say I've got that one down. I say partially due to Disney. Thank you, Beauty and the Beast. And then say Ariano, say being in the Southwest, I say I'm pretty familiar with those last names here. So that being said, though, we're gonna get things going again one more time. I say I would tease my daughter about this right now, but I won't do that yet. So say we're gonna get things going again. This is again attempt number 1 of green white checker. So we're gonna restart with 2 to go. If they can get to the white flag before a caution comes out, they will race to the finish. Otherwise, we got 2 more attempts at it. So we'll see what they go here. Say we're underway. Really good start there by that number 11. You can see right away that 94 Maxwell Caldwell is gonna jump to the inside of Eric Schaus, which is not what Eric's gonna be looking for. Because Eric wants to steal that draft from that 11 car on the backstretch and try to make a charge to the lead. But right now that 894 has it. But now he's got to find a way around, and he does not have any room to work, though. So actually that Eric Schaus is in a really good spot here on that top side. You see that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. It looks like he was pushing the 11 there through the backstretch.
Eric really held him down in the last couple turns.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like we talk about business picking up. Oh, he's they're
what a
oh
save.
my goodness. All right, we're getting to the white flag. Looks like we're gonna get this one under the first green light checker. So we got 1 to go here. Eric Schaus on the outside, Gaston Ariano on the inside, David Camara on the inside on the second line. Say Maxwell Caldwell in the 4th position, I believe that is. To say trying to figure out who's gonna go where right now.
Oh, you can't do that.
Oh, contact.
Oh, no.
We got drivers going up and over. They're going to race back to the line, though, so we are not done here. So right now, though, Gaston Ariano still showing as our race leader. However, Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to have a big toe here off of 4. He might be able to make something happen, but he's going to have some business behind him as well. You see that 11, Gaston Ariano, blocking the bottom side. Oh, more contact at the line, I believe, out of nowhere, if I saw that correctly. Charles Johnson's going to steal this one at the line. Maxwell Caldwell's going to finish second by 8 thousandths of a second. Jack Wall's in third. Where did Charles come from, Steve?
He was my early pick, although you guys never heard it. But yeah, I don't know. I have to rewind and watch what happened there because that was crazy. I didn't even think that after Caldwell nearly lost it, I didn't think he was going to be able to get the momentum to even get that close.
I'm going to do the same, as I think everybody else wants to see what happened there as well, because I don't know what that was wild of a finish there. So we're going to start off out of the backstretch on the final lap between that 59, the 72, the 11. Say we'll see if we can find a good view here. I said actually we're going to go with old trusty Chopper over here. So you see that 59 under the white line, trying to see if he can sneak underneath the 11 there of Gaston Ariano. Couldn't quite do it, so he's going to fall back in line. And say, let's see, a little bit of contact. No, looks like actually Maxwell's, I thought the 94 and 71, 72 touched. Oh, that's where they wind up making contact. Oh, actually, yeah. Maxwell had just nowhere to go there. He just gets squeezed in between the two of them. So just all the drivers all obviously fighting for the same position there on the track. So that's where that incident happened. So Maxwell's able to actually survive that one. And so then what we're gonna do is let's actually hop on board. Well, actually, no, we'll check out Charles Johnson here afterwards. Let's go ahead and see now coming to the start finish line here. We're going to jump over to the 11 of Gaston Ariano because, unfortunately, I say when you're in the lead with these cars, you're a bit of a sitting duck. So I say, well, see what happened to Gaston here as he comes off of 4. You can see he blocks to the bottom there. You see the one almost gets to the pit wall. Oh, and you see Gaston just leaves too much room on the inside, and that opens the door. And unfortunately, contact between the two of them, that puts him into the inside wall, and that's where that contact was between him. I'm trying to catch the, it's the 41 that caught him. That was Ryan Wachter. That's where that contact was. But then that run to the line, though, Again, we talked about that 28 of Charles Johnson. Where did he come from? So we're going to jump over here and say we'll slow things down here because I say Charles got it there just at the line, but and again, I think it was 8 thousandths of a second, I believe I saw there at the line. So pretty much just a nose cone, I believe, between those two drivers there at the line. It says I'm skipped a little bit forward there, but oh my goodness, Steve, that was a wild one. So with that being said, though, we've got some interviews to do. So I didn't really talk to you about this. So put you on the spot here. Say, how would you feel about having a chat with our? Well, I'm going to make you talk to Maxwell. I feel like you're required to talk to Maxwell about his finish. So I'll give you Maxwell, and I'll talk to Jack and Charles there. Does that sound fair to you?
Sounds fair.
All right. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull in that number 83 of Jack Wells. We'll get him going here. And what we'll do is we'll actually watch the last lap of the race from Jack Walls while we're talking to him here, because man, that finish was something else. So I'm gonna pull in our third place finisher, that number 83 of Jack Walls. Jack, I'm not even gonna try to guess where you restarted on that one because that was wild at the end there. I guess tell me, how did you wind up getting back up to third here?
No, I think I had to close my eyes there on that last lap coming up to the finish line. I was in fifth place at that point coming out of turn 4, and I saw the two cars in front of me get close to that inside wall, and I guess I was just lucky to get through that because they crashed in front of me and moved me up from fifth to third. So I'll take that, and want to wish congratulations to Charles Johnson and Maxwell Caldwell for their first and second place finish.
Yeah, I mean that. I say we were watching the finish there, and it's like, okay, as we saw the lead there in the backstretch. Obviously, there's a contact there 3 wide on the backstretch, and say that, and especially when things are getting as busy as they are at the end of the race. I mean, it's kind of bound to happen. And say, so we're actually watching from your onboard. We see you miss that first one. Actually, you drove underneath that 59 car in the backstretch to miss that first track. I don't know if I'd say that was probably where your eyes were closed. Just maybe take back a look at that one, but that was wild there.
If there was going to be a wreck there, I could see it coming because they're running for the win, and I lucked out there and lucked out on the front stretch at the finish line. So I'll take it.
No, I mean, you're saying that we've talked about these races. I mean, it requires skill to put yourself in the position to be in contention for the win. Of course, luck comes into play as well. So you had a little bit of both. I mean, did you have any strategy going into this race, or was it kind of thrown out the window pretty much from early on?
No strategy, just keep my car, with no damage. Watch a lot of the new drivers. I think that's why we had so many cautions. We have a lot of drivers who just don't know how the others are going to drive yet, and I think over the next 3 or 4 races, things will get better.
Oh yeah, no, you're exactly right. There's definitely a lot of growing pains with new leagues, or not new leagues, but new seasons, new drivers. And Indy's not an easy track to do this at either. I mean, it's a pretty single file type track where you have so much momentum as we've seen here. But again, I would say this time at least you didn't drive under the car. We just watched the 11 there get a little bit of air as well. But yeah, before we let you go though, Jack, definitely want to give you opportunity and thanks and shouts I'd like to give for getting that third place tonight.
Well, thank you, and I got to thank my sponsor, Pennzoil. Love Pennzoil and the color yellow.
Well, I'll say they are a very yellow sponsor, so that works out perfectly for you. So again, congrats though on that third place, Jack. I'll say definitely enjoy it, and look forward to chatting with you here further on in the season.
10-4. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
All right, so that was our third place finisher there, Jack Walls. All right, so we're going to go now to our second place finisher. We're going to watch this last lap as well from that 94 of Maxwell Caldwell here because, man, that was wild. But like I said, Steve, this one's going to be you. You're going to have a chat with Maxwell here, so we'll get him queued up and ready to go. And then, yeah, I mean, I'll tease you a little bit since he was your pick. I mean, it was a good pick. He ran well all night long. So let's pull Maxwell in here with Steve and Steve's caught up with our 94 Maxwell Caldwell finishing in the second position tonight.
Hi, Maxwell. I want you to know I don't know anybody in this league yet, but You came out of the pits somewhere in the top 10, maybe about 25 laps in, and you had fresher tires than the cars ahead of you. And I noticed you were running pretty well as it was, and I was like, "Watch it, this guy's going to be in the lead." And so I kind of picked you to win the race, and you almost did. But at one point, you and Anthony Ray had gone into the pits with I think about 20 laps to go, and nobody else came in with you. And you were back in 19th, and I said to Guy, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's over now. and and then things worked out to get you back up to the front. And these last few laps were just wild to watch. You restarted in third. You were under Schaus, and he was doing a good job of holding you down. So you were kind of trapped in there for a while. I felt like once you got clear of him, that you were going to be able to make the pass and take the lead. But apparently, what happened was just around the time you were getting clear coming onto the front stretch, um, I I think you got tapped a little bit by the car behind you or something. You got loose, and that put you all the way back to I think sixth. And again, I was like, all right, it's over. And then things got crazy at the end, and it's almost a photo finish at the line. So hell of a job. And I'm curious to hear from your point of view what that was like.
Yeah, what a back and forth race. Shocked anybody would pick me to win an IndyCar race. Normally, when I run these, I normally wreck out about halfway through. I run this just kind of part time in the league, but knew it was Indy tonight. Just thought I'd give it a shot. Race one, just see what I could do. In practice, I didn't feel like I was that fast. I was like 20th on the charts, and I was like, okay, this is how this is going to be. And then we get into the race, and I'm like, hey, I can actually make passes where other people aren't. So that was encouraging. I was trying not to be super aggressive on restarts, especially at the start. You would normally see me following somebody on the bottom, but it got to the point where they were checking up so hard that I just started jumping to the outside on restarts and picking up maybe 3 or 4 spots. Um, but that pitch strategy at the end, I had one of my buddies jump in about halfway through, Larry Yingling, and he was just kind of helping me crunch the numbers on how much fuel I was burning. And we decided with 20 to go that if we didn't pit and it went green, we were in trouble. So we decided to go ahead and fill up because we knew we would have enough fuel to make it to the end. If we had a caution or two, we'd have enough for 3 green, white checkers. So that was the strategy behind that. And I knew the car was fast. I knew I could drive through some of these guys. And luckily, that big wreck happened, kind of picked me up, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 spots. That brought me up, I think, to 11th for a restart. And then from there, just started picking them off 2 or 3 a restart. But I wished I could have had about 5 or 6 green flag laps. But they're on that last restart. Like you said, I got tapped, I think, by the 59. And I'll be honest, that almost got me a little irritated because it about spun me out. It was everything I could do just to save that car. And then I noticed he also did it to the leader later on that last restart. But besides that, just after I got tapped, I just tried to regroup, saw a hole in the middle, and lo and behold, bottom car moved up, top car moved down. I was the cream in the Oreo cookie and just kind of got sandwiched there. But just tried working my way through the guys. And looking back at y'all's replay, I kind of wished I'd have moved up quicker to block Charles because I think I could have had the win if I would have moved up just a hair quicker. But I didn't want to completely block him and wreck us both. So congrats to Charles. But man, to not ever win a race in Area 51 and to be that close at the line, I was just like, come on, man. It was a good run though.
What were you thinking when you came out and you were 19th?
Oh, when we did that, I thought, well, I'm gonna have to pick my way through some of these guys. I knew we had the car to do it, and I had Larry in my ear just saying, just be patient, work your way through them. Our hope was that it would go green because I practically knew that everybody in front of me, if it went completely green, they were going to run out of fuel. So we were going to be the first car that could make it, and that was going to be encouraging. And I really thought I was going to be able to kind of weave my way through half those guys anyways to try to get some track position. Normally on restarts, I could jump up on that second lane and they'd check up so bad on the bottom that I could kind of rocket by a few of them. But it just didn't work out tonight, Got close, but just I lost momentum coming out of 4 on that last lap trying to check up for those
That's what
two.
I was going to ask you because
I lost momentum there. And if I would have kept my foot in it, I maybe could have beat Charles by the 7,000ths of a second. But that little bit of a checkup had him beat me by 7,000ths of a second. But is what it is. If I run any more of these IndyCar races this year, maybe I can pull one off. But really, I'm hoping for the Cup Series or the Super Speedway Series to start shining a little bit.
Well, that was certainly exciting to watch. I got, let's see, two more questions. One is, did you make any? Guy was telling me that there's more adjustments you can make in the car now. I guess the weight jacking, weight distribution. So, did you make any changes like that during the race?
I don't know how to touch none of that on an Indy car, so I just decided I was going to leave it be. I mean, it's Indy in an Indy car. I mean, you've got grip, you've got momentum. It's just finding out what gear you need to be in when, and whether it's fifth or sixth, and just picking the runs. It's like plate racing on a flat track. So I just kind of left it default and rolled with it.
Okay, my last question or last thing is, who would you like to thank?
Oh, I'd like to thank my buddy Larry Yingling for coming up in here and helping me with a little bit of strategy. I was curious on how much fuel we could have, but with so many cautions, you can't ever get a read, especially when they limit the fuel from a full tank to, like, I don't know, they were only running 13 gallons for this setup. So when you limit the fuel like that, I really don't know how much I'm burning. And he had already been making practice laps, he said, like a day or so ago at this track with this setup. So he was pretty sure it was burning, I think he said 0.7 gallons a lap under green conditions. So he was doing the math for me and kind of helping me figure stuff out. So he helped me on the strategy, but just came up 1,000 short.
So close. Well, we enjoyed watching you, and congrats on an excellent race.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys for the broadcast. Y'all did a great job.
All right, that's our third place finisher, Maxwell Caldwell. So yeah, definitely wanted to give Steve an opportunity to chat with him. So I had to rip Steve a little bit, of course, on that one. However, we can't forget our race winner here tonight, that number 28 of Charles Johnson. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go through his last lap here, to see where he came from, because Charles will bring you in here, man. I'm just gonna ask you, where did you come from on that restart, man? I mean, I don't even know where you restarted, and much less looks like you were in about the 8th, 10th position on that final lap. But yeah, what a run, man!
Yeah, I started out in 8th. I just ran the high line and was dipping down a little bit on the straightaway, catching a draft, getting a run, and coming around on the outside. First, I would like to say to everyone who watched the race tonight, we're going to get that cleaned up. There was a lot of lack of respect in the race tonight. Even the only reason I even won this race was because the top 3 were doing everything they could to wreck each other coming to the finish line. So we got some cleaning up to do. We'll get that straightened out, and the races will get better, I promise you.
Yeah, I mean, I say we kind of chat about that. I say always the growing pains of a new season. You got some new names, new faces. It's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve on some of those drivers to how you can race around some of the other ones, and of course learning how some of the other drivers race with each other as well. But I mean, I say unfortunately those races happen from time to time, and say Indy and Indy cars, it's a tough combo. I mean, so these cars have so much draft, and of course you want to be at the bottom groove on the for the most part. Although, like I said, it's usually want to be in the bottom groove, but you're making that top work there on especially on this last restart, obviously. But I mean, yeah, did you have any kind of game plans in general through the race, or was it just kind of try to put yourself in position and go for it? Or I mean, what was going through your mindset there at the end?
Well, in the beginning, I was counting fuel. I was thinking this could turn into a fuel race, and then the caution started building up, and so I just waited till I knew I had enough fuel with one more pit to make it to the green. And I think it was with 21 laps to go was my last pit stop. And then I just kind of held my line and tried to hold my position the best I could, and mostly was watching them wreck in front of me and gaining 2 or 3 positions here and there until I made my way back up into the top 10. And then I just drove it as hard as I could around the outside and tried to stay close to those guys. And when they got to hooking up and rubbing tires going down the straight to the checkered, I just had the momentum and drove around them.
Yeah, it was wild. As we saw the incident there on the coming to the checker there, and like, oh, it looks like Maxwell might be able to get it. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at the, like, out of his kind of that corner, is like, wait, where'd the 28 come from? And so let's say you're able to get that momentum and use it to perfection there at the end. So I mean, that was a really good job of driving there on your part to get there, put yourself in that contention for the win, though, Charles. But yeah, so say definitely congrats to you, and definitely wanted to give you an opportunity for any thanks and shots you like to give for pulling off the win this evening.
Yeah, I would like to say this for the drivers in there that got caught up in accidents, caused accidents. Go back and look at the race. Go watch it. I ran that entire race with wrecks happening all the way around me. Had 0 incidents at the end of the race and ended up winning the thing. So there's a lot of learning that can come from that, and that's all it is. It's a learning curve for these new drivers. I think we've got 31 or 32 new drivers this season. So, I mean, you got to understand that trying to get to the front on lap 10 is not going to win the race for you. I mean, at one point there, I think I was 28th, and I just ran my race, stayed out of everyone's way, stayed off of everyone, gave people plenty of room, worked my way to the front gradually, and ended up winning the race. So, I hope that some of those drivers are listening or go back and watch this tonight and can learn from it, because that's the key thing. Learn from your mistakes and get better each race. That's what we expect from it. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the drivers coming out. Appreciate all the fans that come and watch us every week. And I promise we'll get this cleaned up, be a better race next week.
So I didn't see her in the chat this evening. However, so I'm not going to let you get away with thanking one other person.
Who's that? My wife?
Yeah.
She was in there tonight?
No, I said I didn't see her in the chat this evening. I said I missed her, but I said definitely wanted to. I said I'm not going to let you get away without thanking her too, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She puts up with me working with this league. I mean, between work, I'm working right now between 40 and 50 hours a week, and putting in another 8, 10, sometimes 15 hours a week into this thing. So, I stay busy, and she tolerates it, and proud of that. She's a good wife and a good grandmother. I'm very proud of her.
Say definitely let her know. So I don't know if she was watching or not, but so you'll definitely have to let her know you're able to get the win tonight, though, Charles. Again, like you said, I mean, a great run. Obviously, not the race you're hoping for as a league admin, but still, I mean, a really good job for yourself being able to pull off that win. So congrats. I say definitely enjoy it, though. And then I say we'll be looking forward to watching you some more here as season 5 keeps moving forward.
Yeah, let's see. We got 87 Cup cars tomorrow at Daytona or Talladega, one of the two. So that should be fun.
That's going to be an exciting one to watch for sure. So looking forward to that. I'll definitely be part of that with you, though. And yeah, so we'll talk to you again soon. Congrats again, though, Charles.
Yep. Thank you, my friend.
All right, so that was our race winner there, that number 28 of Charles Johnson, pulling off the win. Obviously, probably a bit of a mixed motions for him. I'll say on the driver's side, ecstatic to get the win. On the admin side, not happy with the way the race went. But I'll say it's just kind of the way things go in these leagues. I'll say not every race is going to be a caution free or even like a 1 or 2 caution race. Let's say, and like we've talked about, Steve, we'll say new season, new drivers. That's kind of always a recipe for these kinds of things to happen. But you can see, though, the admins here are ready to kind of get things cleaned up and fixed up and go after it again in next week's time for race number 2 for this series.
Yep, definitely. And from what I've seen in other leagues I've been in, it doesn't take too long to get that stuff cleaned up. And they're also going to see that there was a lot of netcode problems tonight, which is something that they can't really do anything about.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that one. So before we go away, though, definitely got to go over our final results here for the race this evening. So I'll go ahead and get those pulled up for you. But while I do that, though, any final thoughts on your end, though, for tonight's race, Steve?
I enjoyed watching it, enjoyed doing the broadcast with you, and look forward to doing the next one.
That sounds good. So again, here are our top 10 for the evening. Charles Johnson sneaking out the win over Maxwell Caldwell by 8 thousandths of a second. Jack Walls brings it home in third. Ryan Wachter, see what I did there? I got it right again. finishes 4th. Benjamin comes in 5th. Dwight Plesh brings it home in 6th position. Say Dwight had a pretty quiet night, but brings it all the way back up into 6th at the end. Great job by Dwight. Unfortunately for Gaston and Ariano, say probably just didn't protect that inside just quite enough. And say he saw that driver kind of try to squeeze to his inside to see if he could sneak that spot. However, is still able to bring it home in 7th. Christopher Kresge in the 8th position. I said that I believe that was our pole sitter as well, so good recovery for him as well. Kyle Hess in 9th, and Charles Teed rounds out our top 10. So pull up 11th through 20th here. Say some of those drivers there also kind of in contention towards the end, just had some difficulties at the end. Say really want to appreciate the 92 Anthony Ray for letting us listen into their communications there during the restarts and everything. I thought that was a pretty cool thing for them to let us do. So it was definitely enjoyable on my end to kind of listen in a little bit, get a little bit of insight for having a live spotter. I thought that was a really neat thing to have. Definitely something that's kind of crossed my mind for future races now as well. So say Craig Forsyth finishing 11th. I'll say going to try to see if he can get that championship this season. Say pretty decent start for him. Got kind of avoided most of the trouble there this evening. We'll pull up 21st through 30th. I'll say some of these drivers, unfortunately, did not have the nights they were looking for. I'll say Eric Schaus is definitely one that stands out. He was in contention for the win there at the end. Unfortunately, got caught up in it. Winds up 23rd, unfortunately, and say just not what he was looking for. And say some of those as well that were up in contention. And David Camara in the 59 was definitely in contention as well. Unfortunately, David Leclerc, I know I've mentioned his bad luck before in some of these races, and it seems like it's for the moment continuing here in season 5. Hopefully, I'll say he's been in contention, just needs to have that luck turn around for him. We always have both to make it to the end of these races. And then our final finishers here, unfortunately, Chad Wilkes, our defending champion, did not have the night he was looking for. Brings it in 31st. Bud Steele as well. And I believe Mauro Ramirez had a little bit of connectivity issues. He wound up retiring early, as you can see, 71 laps down. So that is our results for the evening. So for myself, Steve Goschak with Area 51 Racing League and Green White Checker TV, really want to thank you all for joining us tonight for the start of season 5 when the Indy series. Say again, looking forward to starting up tomorrow night, I should say, with the 87 cars. It sounds like it'll be at Daytona or Talladega. I'll have to take a look at that one. I say that's definitely going to be a wild one. I feel like with the way those cars drive, should be interesting to see how that one goes. And of course, on Thursday we'll be back with the Cup Series, and then Sunday we'll have the Super Speedway Cup Series. So got a lot of racing here to start off season 5. So I want to thank you again for joining myself and Steve Goschak here with Green White Checker TV and Area 51 Racing League. So until tomorrow night, stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And then say enjoy the rest of your evening and look forward to having another race with you all tomorrow night. And until then, take care and have a good night.